Good evening and welcome to Simsport Racing International GT3 Championship, Season 4, Round 5. We're back at Watkins Glen with our pro and semi-pro drivers about to battle it out for heading into the final sort of rundown of the championship. Um, it's going to be a fantastic race if it's anything like our Tier 2 race here last week. Lots and lots of exciting incidences and overtakes and some fantastic driving. So it is going to be a great evening out. I am Sam Pierce, and joining me in the comms box and on camera duty as well as the lovely Chris Hill. Good evening, Chris. How are you?
Good evening, Sam. I'm absolutely fine and dandy, thank you. How is your good self?
Perfect. I'm doing really good. Little bit tired, but I'm pretty sure that these drivers are going to give us plenty of work to do. I soon remember the opening to this round last week. We didn't really know where to look, did we? It was just too much going on all at once.
Absolutely. It was battles galore, then it settled down, then we were back to battles galore. There seems to be a bit of a trend going on.
Yeah, but I mean, we with the championship battles that are hotting up both in pro and semi-pro. I've got a feeling that we're going to be in for quite a lot of really close, tight racing. So something that I found quite interesting in my commentary prep then this afternoon. Quite often in our pro class, we tend to have a runaway driver taking the majority of the wins throughout the championship. But this particular season, we are 4 for 4. We've had 4 rounds and 4 separate winners as well. So our pro class championship really close. There are currently 10 points separating our top 3. So we've got Dave Jr. Currently sitting on that top spot on 37 points, followed 67 points, followed very closely behind by Clay Banny, who topped our free practice just before we came live. He is literally 3 points behind Dave Jr. So this is going to be definitely a race to watch between those two. And then we've got Regan Mitchell currently sitting in that P3 slot with 57 points. All 3 of those drivers have taken a win this season. Dave Jr. took the checkered flag at Hungaroring. Clayt took the checkered flag at Snetterton, and Regan won at Kyalami. So yeah, I think whoever wins tonight is going to be in with a shot of taking home that championship. Then over in the semi-pro class, just as tight, although a few more points in it. So we've got let me do some maths on the fly, which is not really my strong suit. 12 points separates first to third in our semi-pro. We've got Justin DeLong currently sitting in that top spot place, having taken 2 wins this season already, followed very closely by Nick Vargas, who has been setting some blistering laps this week in the practice servers. And then followed very closely behind by Jits Medina in P3 on 56 points. So still all to play for in both classes. Really interesting, really tight battles. And the great thing about this championship, we've got some close battles all the way down through the order. Just looking at the championship standings in semi-pro, we've got 4 drivers tied in the midfield. So lots and lots to fight for down there as well. Shall we see how we are doing for... Oh no, let's do a track guide. So for those of you who weren't with us for our track guide last week, and want to have a fly around Watkins Glen in the beautiful state of New York, we come down the main straight into turn 1 called the 90. Really sharp 90-degree bend, obviously. Can really take some liberty with this curve, but as long as you've got at least one tire on the paint, you're good. Then you come up into this really lovely flowing S's section of turn 3 and 4. Very misleading. This is a really steep incline, so cars that are a little bit heavier do tend to struggle. But then we come up onto the back straight, and you've got to pick in your braking point coming into the inner loop chicane. Weirdly enough, none of these corners actually have any numbers, but we saw plenty of incidences around here last week. Get too much of the curb, and it can quite easily spit you out into the wall. As we come around the flowing turn 5 of outer loop, we head into the new section of the track that was introduced only a couple of years ago, so come down into turn 6 of the chute, and then we come into a hairpin, but on an incline, so you can actually take a lot of speed around this turn 7, get on the power really early to climb back up onto a shortish straight, heading down into turn 8 of heel. Quite tight, and continues to tighten as you go round, but again, plenty of runoff for you to take on the left hand side up into the final turn of the new section under turn 9, bring you back onto the old track with a little bit of a straight coming into turn 10. Quite high speed corner. I can take quite a lot of curb on the right, but you've got to get over really early to take the final turn 11. Be careful not to touch the wall on the outside, and also be mindful of cars braking a little bit harder to come into the pit entry. So didn't see too many instances on turn 11, but did see quite a number of overtakes into that section last week. Most of the accidents we saw happening in the chicane of people just taking a little bit too much liberty with the curbs, and getting quite violently spat out the other side.
Oops.
So all of our drivers have started putting some qualifying laps in. Most of our drivers have done about 3 laps so far, and currently have Kyalami sat in the provisional pole with a 143.5. That's about 4/10 off of the quickest times that we have seen around here. But interestingly, this is nearly a second faster than the real life track record around here, which was set in 2019 in a Bentley Continental of all cars, which I found quite surprising. And that lap record was a 144.286. So looking at the times in our midweek practice server, everybody in the top 10 beat that real life track time, that real life record time. So I think we're going to see some blistering laps later on during this session, as Regan Mitchell takes provisional pole by 2/100ths of a second away from Kyalami, but then gets himself a little bit sideways and returns back to the pits. We're just on board with Nick Vargas, putting in some amazing times as our lead semi-pro in the free practice session just before we came online, and also putting in some great times in the midweek practice server as well, in that Moto 11 Haribo Racing Mercedes. Currently sitting in P6, and he was 5/10 up on his time, puts him all the way up into P3, so an excellent lap there from Nick Vargas. Just having a cycle through the cameras to see who's
Oh, Barney's just gone
improving,
quicker.
and Clayton Barney has just retaken the pole position from Regan Mitchell. So I think this is going to be a bit of a back and forth between Clayton and Regan through the last 10 minutes of this qualifying session. I think they're going to start trading hot laps back and forth, and just waiting for some Spenkelik to get in on the action as well. Interestingly enough, just seeing that shot looking back at the chicane of the inner loop, something that we discovered in the broadcast last week. Those orange bollards that are in the middle of the grass of that chicane, non-destructible, as we found out last week. We had someone clatter into those at pretty much at full pace, and absolutely destroyed their car in the middle of the race. So if whenever you are next driving around Watkins Glen, be mindful that those barriers don't move.
They hurt.
They hurt lots. It did look very, very painful. We are just on board with Justin DeLong, currently 2/10 up on his time, currently in P15. Obviously, Justin is our current championship leader for the semi-pro class. It's been a little bit off the times in the practice sessions that we've seen so far from Justin. When I first came into the server earlier this evening, he did seem to be struggling for grip through the chicane, and was losing a bit of time through that section. But currently up on his time, is now up 4/10, and that brings him up to P10 as he crosses the line. So that is second place in the semi-pro, but see quite a big gap between himself and Nick Vargas up in P3.
I did read in our Discord earlier on people complaining about the Porsche here at Watkins Glen being a difficult car to drive. So perhaps that has some bearing on some people's slow pace.
Yeah, I've heard then the same thing, that because the Porsche lacks top end speed, that it's struggling to keep pace coming up the uphill S's section, just because it's a little bit down on power. But so surprisingly, I would have expected the McLarens to be doing a little bit better around here. Currently, our three McLarens in the server, currently sitting in P14 and 15 in the hands of Oliver Anderson and Basper Millis, and then Nick Ambrinosa in P21. The McLaren tends to be the favoured car amongst a lot of the eSport drivers at the minute, getting a little bit of a buff in the latest update. Is improving. So Peter Vernier, who just finished a lap, is a bit up on his time, and Nar Cox already a second up. But this will actually be his first time lap. So just noticing that he's not actually put a time on the board yet, but has completed 5 laps according to my timing screen. So I think Nard might be struggling a little bit, possibly with track limits, and actually managing to string in a decent lap together. So hopefully this will be a clean lap for him. He's currently 4/10 up. I'm interested to find out what my timing screen is actually measuring that against, if he hasn't actually put in a qualifying time yet.
It's a good question.
It is a very good question.
Would you like me to give you an answer?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay. I should have known that.
You should have
Was
known that,
gonna
yeah,
be,
absolutely.
I know.
I can
I
only
really should know
I
these
can only
things.
assume it's based it on his previous track limit time. That's all I can put it down to. No doubt somebody will jump into the YouTube chat and tell us exactly verbatim what's wrong with it. What's wrong with it?
Oh, so you think?
Why am I saying there's something wrong with it?
I don't know, but he has just invalidated again.
Yes, he has.
So it's where was that? That looks like it's coming out of turn 8 that he seems to be struggling with. So still got 5 minutes in order to put a time together. So not too much of a rush yet. Noticing Marcel Vis behind him also hasn't set a qualifying time as of yet. As we're just on board with Sander Vale, has put in a time, not really a very representative time, but is now 1.5 seconds up on that time, so that is going to help considerably. As he just comes into turn 10.
Lost a bit of time by going off track slightly there.
Not a whole lot, still 1.4 up, and that should put him... Doesn't actually improve his position.
Well, that was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it?
It is. It's so frustrating. I have it happen to me all the time. You put in a really, really good lap, great improvement on your previous time, and it makes absolutely no difference to your positioning. Very, very frustrating.
I think I just came on with Pete a bit too late there. I think he has just gone slightly better with a 1:43.767.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's improved his position.
Justin De Jong has just crossed the line and improved a couple of places. Who else is up on their time?
There's not many.
No, Marcel Vis is an 8/10 up on his current P23 time. That should at least put him ahead of Sander Vale. He's now improved that time to 1.1 seconds. So Marcel's starting to get some starting to get to grips with that McLaren.
Where will this put Marcel now? Up to 17.
Yeah, great improvement there from Marcel. Narcock still not put in a timed lap yet, and he is now starting to run out of time. It's 2 minutes 15 left in qualifying. So he's gonna have to get a lap together.
Do you think he's going to try and do a last to first challenge like Andy King last week?
I don't think he's going to do it voluntarily.
Well, perhaps not. Perhaps not.
Yeah, so a lot of drivers seeming to struggle to improve their times at the minute.
But, Tim's just invalidated his lap there by the looks of it.
And looks like completely and totally ignored his braking point.
Well, why would you need to brake?
Well, yeah. It's not like there's an actual squishy human in the car.
No. Go back to the garage. Oh, Sam. Oh, sorry. Right.
Yeah, and I have just noticed while we've been concentrating on the bottom half of the field, Sam Spankelink has come in and beat both Clayt and Regan to provisional pole. Uh, we're on board with Clayt at the minute, not showing him being up on his current time. And Sem's time is currently showing as invalid.
Sam might just
And
get to the line in time to do another lap.
he might do. I think it'll be close.
Like not down on his time, not up either. He's somewhere in between.
Yeah, so Sem has managed to cross the line in time to do another lap, but Clayt has not. So Clayt is done on a 143.2. So Sem actually doesn't need to improve on this time unless Regan Mitchell pulls something out of the bag, but Regan is going to have to make up 4/10 in order to knock Sem off of that top spot. Currently showing as 0.1 up, which is not going to be enough to do it.
But did he improve them from 4th to 3rd? I think he did, didn't he?
No, he was in 3rd. Improved his time, but didn't improve his position.
I must have been looking at something else. I do apologise, Sam.
That's okay.
I'm trying to multitask. You know I can't do it.
I know.
I'm struggling to breathe and operate the cameras at the same time.
You do your best. Let's see. Dave Jr. just coming out of the final corner, not actually showing as being up on his current time. Martin van der Kraan and Arwen Vangermakers following nose to tail. Oh! And no, that wasn't Aaron in the background who hit the wall coming out of turn 11, which then speared him off into the pit entry barrier. So that's definitely something he doesn't want to repeat in the race.
Well, my night's made up, Sam.
Oh, it's my Merrick here.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. Hello, Bass's mum. You make our evening when you come and join us on the stream. Oh, little things, isn't it, Chris?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So, predictions.
I predict that he who crosses the line first at the end of the race shall win unless he's lapped. I think it's going to be close again. Certainly the top 3, Sem, Clyde and Regan there, setting up really good lap times. And Sem obviously came second last race for a call, but unfortunately due to a bit of an infringement, the stewards decided to demote him with a 10-second penalty. So I've finished my sentence there. Yes. Sorry. Again, okay. I'm trying to multitask and it's just not working.
It sounded like that was going to carry on. So yeah, Sem currently sitting in P5 in the championship because of that penalty. So without that penalty, he would have been in P3 ahead of Regan Mitchell. So bit of an bit of a costly slap on the wrist there for Sam. So I'm pretty sure he's going to come into this race with having a little bit of something to prove. But starting on pole position here, really good start to that race. But you know, this is a track where overtaking is possible. You got to be brave, and you know, find your spot to do it. But it is possible. When we saw Andy King carve through the entire field from back of the pack to win the race last round last week. So, it is definitely possible. But yeah, Sam, I think, is definitely going to have a interesting race this evening, and my prediction is that I think Sam's going to take it. I'm gonna draw my line in the sand and may make that prediction, but I do think it's going to be very close.
I wonder what the world of YouTube thinks, Sam.
Yes, that would be good. So everybody watching in YouTube land, how about you give us your predictions? Let us know what you think of who's going to take the race this evening. What you expect is going to happen. Anything interesting? Our format for this evening, repeat of last week, so a 75-minute race. Mandatory stop for fuel only, so tires are optional. We did see quite a lot of drivers deciding to take tires and you know, pretty much just do a standard pit strategy. Be interesting to see if our more experienced pro and semi-pro drivers see if anyone decides to hang it out and do a full 75 minutes on a single set of tires. But it's definitely one to watch. So, have you got the cameras set up for a grid walk?
You'd be surprised to hear I have, for a change.
Wow!
I'm as shocked as you are.
Then let's get to it. So on row 1, we have Sem Spankelink lined up alongside Clayt Banney. In P3, we've got Regan Mitchell alongside Nick Vargas, our top semi-pro driver in P4. Then we've got Dave Jr. lining up alongside Jean Beton. Then in P7 and P8, we've got Peter Vernier alongside Ben Mullard. Then Justin DeLong, our P2 semi-pro driver, lines up alongside Vincent Velsack. Then on the next row, we've got Martin van der Kraan alongside Arvin Bangermakers. Then we've got our very own Chris Pinchbeck lining up alongside Oliver Anderson. In P15 and P16, we've got Practic Tractor alongside Tim Kroll. And we've got Marcel Viss lined up alongside Bas Ben Millis. In P19, we've got Dennis Workman alongside Nelson Ambrinosa. We've got Nick Dealey alongside Jits Medina. And then on the final row, we've got Sander Vale and Nard Cox bringing up the rear. So I don't think Nard actually managed to get a lap in qualifying. So interesting to keep an eye on Nard and see how he does. Just looking to see where Nard is in the championships. Currently P15 in the Pro Class Championships. So he's had a couple of good races. Good races out. So still got about 20 seconds before we start our formation lap. But once again, then this week we've got really great weather for the race. Clear skies, optimum track. Air temperature currently sitting at 23 and a track temperature of a toasty 31. So absolutely perfect conditions for racing. Nice warm track, decent air temperature. And I don't know if Sem jumped that start or everybody got delayed, but so it took a while for everybody else to start moving. Oh, I've just noticed Clayt Banny not hitting drive in time and will now be starting from the pit lane.
Oh,
Well, that throws a cat amongst the pigeons.
well, bang goes my predictions then, doesn't it?
Well then.
Clyde, what are you
However,
doing to me, man?
however, we saw this last race. I don't. Did Andy King? Andy King had an accident the first lap in turn one. It wasn't a case of he started from the pit lane, was it? No, he did start from pit lane because he had
You have connection
a
issue.
disconnect. That's
correct.
correct. Yeah. So we we've seen that it can be done. So I'm wondering if maybe not necessarily intentionally, but accidentally, if Clayt Banny can repeat Andy King's phenomenal um, showing last week of doing a proper last to first. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Oh, thank goodness for that. It's not just me that's disappointed with it.
Yeah, Thorega coming into the chat. No, Clayt. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Clayt will be able to get a decent number of positions back. He's proven himself very good under pressure. Really good in traffic. And as we've been saying, it can definitely be done. Had happened here last week. Um, so yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Love these old style NASCAR style pits that we have here at Watkins Glen. So no garages or anything like that. Just just pop up tents as then the pits. I still find it amusing that they actually run NASCARs on a track like this.
It's not something I've ever really watched. The only NASCAR
No,
I've watched is Days of Thunder. Does that count?
it kind of counts.
Oh, there you go
I
then.
mean, they did try to make that fairly realistic. It's a good film actually.
It is.
But yeah, I'm looking at potentially trying to get over to Daytona for the Daytona 500 in February.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we'll see if we can make it happen. There's lots of things that have got to happen in order for that to work. But I'm working on it. That would just be a trip of a lifetime. They've never seen NASCAR, so he's gonna be just absolutely blown away by that. Right. On to this evening's action, as we're just approaching the start-finish line. And when we go green, I've just noticed Vincent Valsek having a drive-through penalty, possibly for being out of position. So
That's impressive. That's got to be the quickest drive-through I've ever seen.
Yeah, and we do have a yellow flag at the back. I think somebody has possibly had a disconnect.
I think
Pete Vanier's 5.
Pete Vanier's had a disconnect because it won't let me select him.
Yeah. So Clayt Banny underway has got quite a gap to make up. That gap. So Clayt currently has 10 seconds. Currently to catch up. 13 seconds to catch up to the back of Jets Medina in P23. But at the moment, that looks like a relatively clean start from um, everybody up at the top end. We're just on board with Regan
Sorry.
Mitchell currently in P2. Just jump to Dave Jr. Thank you very much, Chris. In P4, who is just coming up on the back of Nick Vargas.
So I jumped to this because it looked like it was going to get very tasty very quickly then.
As everyone comes through to finish their first flying lap, and Vincent Velsek doing the smart thing, going straight into the pits to serve that drive-through, getting it out of the way and done, is going to come out behind Clayt Banney, but at least he gets it out of the way. Now, obviously, he's not going to be able to serve his pit stop at that time, so is unfortunately going to have to come into the pits yet again to serve his mandatory pit stop. As we're just looking back over the rear wing of Sem Spenkling, building up quite a decent gap to Regan Mitchell. That gap currently 1.1 seconds. So giving himself a nice comfortable lead. This field seems to be relatively spread out. Although we're on board with Oliver Anderson, which it looks to be our closest battle on track at the minute. That's Patrick Tractor up ahead in the bright yellow Lamborghini.
Sorry, Sam. I actually forgot I had the ability to speak. Just went really quiet on you then. Yeah, Oliver Anderson and Patrick Tractor were quite close together, with less than 0.1 of a second, which is why I focused on them, thinking there was going to be again another battle. I can see a bit further down.
Oh, somebody just goes sideways out of turn one. That's Nick Dealey in the number 15 Aston Martin. Gets the car going. It looks like he was able to keep it out of the wall, but that has put him down into, I believe, P21. So I just saw a yellow flag, and Jits Medina now suddenly showing as being in the pits and has also left the server as well. So I think that we're having I'm hoping it's connection issues and not people dropping out of the race this early on. Of something that I say time and time again, even if you have an accident in the opening laps of a race, you still have the entire race for other things to happen to other drivers, for you to be able to come back and still score points. So yeah, sad to see some drivers dropping out already. But we're just on board with Nelson Ambrinosa, and that is Dennis Verkman up ahead in the, I was about to say our only Mercedes. We do have another in the hands of Nick Vargas, but Dennis Workman seemed to be struggling a little bit in free practice when I initially came into the server. Looked like he was struggling for grip a little bit, and had quite a number of close encounters with the walls.
Replay of what happened with Nick Dealey coming up.
Okay. Oh.
And that, unfortunately, sorry to say, Mary, was Baz that
Oh no.
careered into the back of Nick there.
So yeah, completely not any of Nick's doing there, getting caught up. But has managed to keep going. One good thing about getting a rear end shunt like that is that it shouldn't affect his overall lap time too much in terms of the damage being square on. He's going to lose a little bit of top end speed, I think. But other than that, he shouldn't be hampered too much and should quite easily be able to get that car to the pits and possibly maybe even decide not to fix the damage in the pits.
John Betton harrying Nick Vargas.
Yeah, definitely putting Nick under all sorts of pressure here. John has done very, very well in this championship. First race out came in second place, but has had a couple of bad races since then. Had a disastrous outing at Snetterton. Has managed to clock back in Kyalami and Misano, but not up to the pace that he started the championship on, but in a good position here in P4. That power able to carry just a little bit more speed through the chicane than Nick is.
By this time, or will he send it?
No, I don't think he's quite close enough to send it there. But if he keeps this sort of a gap, I mean, the gap's kind of wavering between 0.3 and 0.5. If he keeps it that close coming up into turn 11, then he might have a good chance either at turn 11 or to get the move done coming off the start-finish straight into turn 1.
I think this is the closest battle on track at the moment. Looking down the timing board.
It is, yes, but I've just noticed Nard Cox, who wasn't able to set a qualifying time in qualifying up to P13. So
good start.
Nard's had a fantastic start. With just harassing Oliver Anderson up ahead, but also has to be mindful of Marcel Viss behind.
So there's not an overtaker moving into the chicane where pushing Oliver into the barriers. And Oliver lets him go about.
Does manage to get the move done very, very nicely done, and I think Oliver having a bit of a level head there, decided not to push it too much. So yeah, fantastic. Narcox up to P12 after starting at the almost back of the grid. Well, it looks like we've got an incident just coming out of the chicane. That's Nick Dealey again. Oh no.
And he's, I think he's left the server now.
I think he called it quits, yeah. So, bit of a race of attrition then this evening. Does seem to be who sticks it out. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that when we're losing a few drivers this evening.
I think Dennis Workman's gone now as well.
I believe you're right.
We're up to 20. Yeah. Sorry, down to 20 drivers, not up.
Down to 20 from, we have what, 28 starting? Yeah. Yeah, so such a shame. But what that does mean is that those drivers who decide to stick it out, they're basically getting free points. And this is what I struggle to understand from drivers who rage quit races. Um, yeah, it's frustrating. Yes, it's annoying. You get a lot of emotion behind the wheel, in the heat of a race, but you're giving away points by just not continuing. I don't get it, but it might just be me. But yeah, just stick with it. This is supposed to be fun.
I'll see if I can find a replay, see what actually happened.
Yeah. All right. So let's have a look at some of the battles that we have on track. Obviously, we won't be able to show you those battles because Chris is looking for some replays, but I can run them down for you. So at the minute, we've got a battle between P4 and P5. Nick Vargas getting harassed by Dave Jr. That gap currently 0.4. And then Ben Mullard in P6 has Justin De Jong for company, battling it out there for P6. And then we've got kind of a pack of cars between Chris Pitchbeck in P10 all the way back to Tim Kroll in 15. And that battle consists of Tim Pinchbeck, Patrick Tractor, Nar Cox, Oliver Anderson, Marcel Viss, and Tim Kroll. All very, very close together. So, what? About a second and a half between P10 down to P15. So quite close there, although it looks like somebody, I think Practic Tractor has possibly lost a no, my timing screen has gone a little skew. It was showing Practic Tractor as being 2 seconds back from Nar Cox. But obviously that is not the case. So it is still quite a tight battle between Chris Pinchbeck down to Marcel Viss in P13. And then we've also got the battle with Marcel, Oliver Anderson, and Tim Kroll as well. And then further back, we have Nelson Ambrinosa giving Vasper Millis a bit of a hard time for P17.
I have the replay.
Okay, just in time.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's do replay. And that was it.
The green Mercedes.
Dennis Workman.
That was Dennis Workman. So yeah, just had a really, really unfortunate incident. Coming out of the chicane, you've got very, very little control to avoid another car. So yeah, the chicane claiming yet another victim, I think.
Such a shame. Young battling with Mullard here.
Battle of the Porsches. When we were saying in the build-up, just before we came on air, that quite a number of drivers saying that the Porsche has been a bit of hard work around this track. So a lot of the drivers coming into the Discord saying that the car feels slow around here.
Yeah, I read the same messages, Sam. I've never really driven the Porsche, so I can't comment on its strengths or its weaknesses.
No, I've not had the nerve to drive the Porsche either. You know, when I first started playing in ACC, at the time everyone was saying that then the Porsche was just absolutely lethal. So I didn't dare try it, and basically I've just not dared try it since, even though you know I've improved considerably since I first started. I still don't think I'm quite at the level to handle a rear-engined car like the Porsche. Does seem to be a little bit tail happy and at times, but see, it seems to be that then the most that people complain about it is that it does seem to be down on power, and quite easily can lose a lot of time on the straights compared to some of the other cars. Which doesn't surprise me that it's feeling a little slow around this track. The S's, as I was saying in the track guide, really nice, beautiful flowing part of track, but it's on a considerable incline, so you need a decent amount of power to get up there at any speed. So with then the Porsche being a little bit down on power, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that it's feeling a little sluggish. Just having a look at how Narcox is faring up P9, but Clayton Banny started from pit lane up to P16. So making some improvements, but not quite as much improvement as I would have expected when we're about 20 minutes into the race. I thought he would have gotten a little bit further up the field than that by now.
Yeah, I was expecting to make massive inroads into the people in front as well.
So up in the top corner, we are on board with Justin De Jong as he hunts down Ben Mullard, and in the bottom we have Dave Jr. Still kind of putting Nick Vargas under a bit of pressure. I would suspect, and you know, Chris, tell me if you agree with this assessment. I'd expect to see Nick Vargas potentially up into pro class next season.
Oh, I think you absolutely nailed it there, Sam. Definitely. Along with some, not some others, let me rephrase that. So we've seen something similar in the Tier 2. Frank Ott doing consistently well. So I suspect he'll be going up the class as well. Yeah, Nick certainly doing a very good job, especially tonight on Watkins Glen.
Yeah, then there seems to be a track that a lot of drivers have fell in love with since it was introduced into ACC. I was saying, oh my god, it's been almost a year, hasn't it? And it was around Christmas time last year that the American tracks were introduced, wasn't it?
I'll go with yes. My memory
has it
doesn't
been
work
that long? Wow. So, yeah, like a lot of drivers have fallen in love with it. It's a really great track. Really nice to drive, but still technical enough that you know, needs a fair amount of skill and a considerable amount of bravery to you know, do a really strong competitive lap here. You know, you've pretty much got to to kiss the wall coming out of turn 11, just as we see on board with Dave Jr. getting nice and close to that wall. And again, needing quite a bit of bravery going through then the chicane, taking as much curve as you dare without getting spat up on the other side, as we've seen a couple of times this evening.
And obviously, now we're focused on both these two battles. They're not quite developing as much as we thought. But it does look like Ben Mullard is catching Dave Jr.
He is, yeah. That gap to Dave Jr. now 0.5. So if this continues, we might end up with a four-way battle for P3. No. Four-way battle for P4, I should say.
But the more that Ben fills Dave Jr.'s mirrors, the more likelihood is he's going to drop back further from Nick, and Nick's going to get pull away slightly.
Yeah, as he's doing that gap to Nick Vargas now 0.7. So giving Nick a little bit of breathing room. And while we have a bit of a breather in proceeding, seeing as when we're talking about favorite drivers' tracks, I'm sure everybody has heard the announcement by now that the Nordschleifer is coming to ACC. Are you excited for that, Chris?
Absolutely not.
No?
No. Good Lord.
Oh.
I can't concentrate on cameras on 13 corners. How am I going to go over 3,000 corners? No, it's
so
great.
Not necessarily to commentate on. Are you excited to drive it?
Oh, good Lord, no. I can't concentrate on 13 corners on a simple track. How are we going to go on with 3,000 corners on a complex track like that? Ask me one on a Formula One.
No, we're not gonna open that can of worms.
No, I'm very pleased to hear it's been announced. Tantalisingly, everybody's been asking for this track since ACC first came out, and it looks like that it's going to finally come to fruition. However, with a 6-minute lap time, 7-minute lap time.
Yep.
Qualifying is going to be interesting, isn't it? Over 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I do think that leagues and communities that decide to run it in any sort of format that's not an endurance race, it is going to be interesting to see how admins work it into a calendar. Frank Cox just come into the YouTube chat saying, yeah, it is a bit too long for just your standard 60, 75 minute sprint races, but as an endurance track, oh wow, yeah, that it's going to be just amazing. 24 hours of Nordschleifer, I would be all up for that.
I was about to say, where do you think our charity race may be next year?
I wonder.
The problem will be.
I wonder.
The problem will be that every community is going to be doing it.
Yeah.
And people are just going to get fed up with it. As much as they like the track, people are going to get fed up with it. So I think
potentially.
I think what we'll do is we'll set a trend and not use it at all.
So back to the action on track. Just noticing that Marcel Viss, first driver to blink and take his pit stop, is quite early. We're just on the 49-minute mark left in the race, so is it a tad on the early side? So I would suspect. And
I'm quickly trying to do
and
maths
he's
in my head and it doesn't work. And he's got a drive-through just to do
and
it.
he's just earned a drive-through as well.
So in answer to your question then, Sam, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. I don't mean to be ignorant, but no, it's not worth going in there.
No, I don't. No, don't think so. Is it a little bit early? And I was gonna say that with Marcel pitting at this point in the race, it's pretty much guaranteed that he has taken tires. But yeah, I'm fortunate to get a drive-through, and I'm just thinking in my head, getting a full drive-through as opposed to a stop go 30. I'm not sure that is for speeding in the pit lane. Normally, it's a stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane on a pit stop. So,
And I can't remember if you reverse in the pit lane, is that a DSQ or a drive-through?
I think it's a straight DSQ. As we see, Clayton Banny pull a excellent move on
That was a
Chris
good
Pinchbeck.
move, wasn't it?
It was nicely executed coming into the inner loop chicane.
Puts him up to 20th, up to 10th.
P10.
Oh,
Come on,
dear.
Chris.
Okay.
So Thuriga has just confirmed 51 to 60 is a DT. Is that what speed over the pit limit, Thuriga? Is that what you're meaning? I think that's what you're referring to. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't correct you because I don't know.
No, I'm hoping that Thuriga is going to come in and confirm that my assumption of what he means is correct. So yeah, if that is the case, then that's considerable speeding. No, 51 to. I'm with you. I'm with you now, Thuriga. Right, I get it. So pit lane speed limit is 50. If you're speeding between 51 and 60, Thuriga is saying that you get a drive-through. Beyond that, then it's a stop go 30.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Sam. And if you could just remember that for next time we have a drive-through. Don't rely on me to do it.
No. But it looks like Marcel has served that drive-through straight away. So it's basically just done an outlet and back in again. So yeah, Thuriga confirming speeds between 51 and 60 is a drive-through. Anything over, say 61 to 70, stop go 30. Anything over 71 is a automatic disqualification. Thank you very much, Thuriga, for clarifying that for me.
Oh, just for you, was it? It wasn't for everybody in the world.
I asked.
I tell you what, slightly selfish, that, isn't it?
Maybe a little.
Okay.
Right. What's happening on
Absolutely nothing.
track? So Sam has just driven off on his own. 8 seconds ahead of Regan Mitchell, who is still battling with Jean Beton. We're just on board with Nar Cox, who has got himself up to a very, very respectable P9 after not setting a lap time in qualifying. And interestingly enough, has Clayton Banny coming up behind him then as well. Currently, still 8.5 seconds back. But at the speed difference between those two, Clay is probably going to be catching Nard relatively soon if he doesn't get this move made on our wagon makers ahead of him in our only BMW in the Pro and Semi-Pro classes. Very nice color red as well, I must say.
What colour white's your BMW?
It is white, yes.
Well, it's obvious.
I know.
I
Oh
didn't
dear.
even realise they did them in different colours.
But they don't do BMWs in different colors.
Do they not? I didn't think so.
They do.
You played very nicely into my hands there.
I know I did. I'm completely and utterly gullible.
Obviously, I'm aware that they do a blue and a black as well.
Yes. Oh, and don't forget silver. Don't forget
Oh
silver.
yeah, silver, very popular. This is certainly the closest battle on track. I'm also keeping an eye on the De Jong, Mullard, and the Dave Jr. battle. Oh, that was close. Oh,
Was that assisted?
I don't believe it was. I think that was a Nick Agrippa.
Right.
But I'm going to go and find a replay because
Okay.
that's before you ask me.
Okay. So at this rate, it probably won't be too long before Nardcox comes up onto this battle. Just on board with Justin DeJong, who's in the back of this this train of cars, which goes all the way up to P3. So at the head of this train, we've got John Piton, followed by Nick Vargas, Dave Jr. in the Ferrari, and then Ben Mollard and Justin DeLong in the two Porsches.
You ready for a replay?
Okay.
I've gone a little bit further back than I was expecting, sorry.
That's okay, so... right, okay, so we're just coming out of turn 1. Just catches a little bit too much curb on the inside before heading up the S's, so no, not assisted in any way. But it looks like we now have some pit stops happening.
Yay!
John Baton pitting from P3, and who's that? Tim Kroll facing the wrong way coming out of the pit lane.
Not sure. I will go and find a replay of that as well. Again, before I'm instructed to. Oh, and we've during that we missed Justin get past Ben Mullard. Oh, somebody's going to be busy.
I said it's always the way. It's nice and quiet for a while. You get complacent, and then everything happens all at once. So John Piton has come out of the pit, I believe, in P17. Arvin Vangermakers just finishing off his pit stop as well. We've also got Martin van der Kraan in the pits as well.
Here's what happened to Tim. Oof.
Yeah.
Sound effects and everything.
Some considerable front end damage on that Lamborghini now. And I seem to be having some connection issues here, so hopefully I don't disappear on you.
Is it stuttering you can see?
Yes.
Yeah, it's happening my end as well. So
okay.
I suspect it's me.
Okay.
No idea why.
So as when we're starting to come into just coming up to the 38-minute mark, we do have a couple of more people starting to pit. But then Nelson Ambrinosa, Tim Kroll, pitting. Unsurprising to Tim Kroll, pitting to fix the damage that he's just picked up, and also Martin Vanderkran in the pits. Although Martin's been sat in the pits for a while now. And I've just seen Jits Medema has joined us in the YouTube chat, so sadly it wasn't a disconnect. It gives me a chance to watch the stream live. Well, thanks for coming and joining us, Mr. Medema. It's lovely to have you, although we would have loved to have seen you on track. Martin Vanderkran getting a stop of 30. Unfortunately, his race going from bad to worse. Tim Kroll's obviously still stationary with a fair amount of damage, needing to repair on that Lamborghini. I've got a feeling that he might have been going into the pits the last that last lap where we saw him lose control. So I think he just on his way into pit lane just took a little bit too much extra curb coming out of turn 11, and just got the car all kinds of sideways. Because we've had some pit stops, some of the gaps up at the top have adjusted. Is this the? This is Justin Geelong. There we go. Very nicely done coming into. I thought that was turn 1. Yes, it was. Just coming into turn 1. Just forcing. Just forcing Ben Mullard and a little bit wide coming out of turn 1. So very, very nicely done there as Ben Mullard decides to jump into the pits.
Can't help feeling we missed another overtake there as well.
Have we?
Have we? Yeah, Dave Junior's now behind Justin De Jong as well, so let's find out what happened there.
So with all of the pit stops starting to work their way through, Sam Spankelik got a very, very healthy 20-second gap up at the front back to Regan Mitchell. Another 6 seconds back to Nick Vargas. Considering then,
sorry.
Replay. That's all right.
From a long way back.
Yeah, but once again getting the move done, coming into turn 1. Also, he's gonna side by side through the S's.
Brave, very brave.
It is very brave, but great respect from both drivers, giving each other plenty of space. But then doing the intelligent thing and getting everything sorted and out of the way before the chicane. As we've got Justin De Jong and Nard Cox coming into the pits. So with just under 34 minutes left in the race, we've got half the field already completing their pit stops. So I get the feeling that the majority of drivers are going to be doing a full standard pit stop, taking tires as well. So they would have only fueled for half the race. Then I'd be very surprised if anyone decides to hang those pit stops out really long and decides to go for a splash and dash. I wonder if someone will opt for that.
He's got a comfortable lead.
He does have a very comfortable lead. It's just a question of how much fuel he took on the start as to how deep he'll be able to go.
Well, we'll soon know. Well, we won't. We won't actually
No,
know,
we won't, because he's coming into the pits as we are on board with him. So that promotes Regan Mitchell up to temporary P1, with Nick Bargers behind in P2.
What would you like to watch? Would you like to watch Sam's pit stop, or would you prefer to see something on track? Your choice, Sam.
There's most of the gaps on track are quite big at the minute.
They're all over a second, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So this is the one disadvantage of having a few drivers drop out, especially on a track this long. I mean, then this track is over 5.5 kilometers. So quite a lot of space for 18 cars to spread out. Looks like some Spanklink's come out into some really nice clean air, so you should be able to quite happily just drive his own pace. The car in front, the 29 car of Oliver Anderson is yet to pit, so the next car ahead, car 11, is Bass. So Sam will be coming into lap traffic in a little bit, but once he's past Bass, again he's got a really nice clear track ahead, so he'll be able to put in some nice lap times to get his tires up to temperature and up to pressure.
Yeah, just noticed in the chat that you may have mentioned it while I was concentrating on other things. Chris Pinchbeck lost connection as well.
I didn't notice. Oh yeah. Well, everybody's having connection issues tonight.
I wonder if it's something to do with the ACC servers.
Either that or it's the solar flares. You heard about this? There was a solar storm over the weekend here in the UK.
I didn't see the sun at all over the weekend, so I'm amazed to hear that.
Well, aside from the fact that you didn't actually see the sun, then there was a solar storm apparently, and there's been aurora sighted all across the UK on Sunday, and I was reading up that they can affect internet and Wi-Fi connections. So, yeah.
Okay. So
there you go.
So thank you for that.
Completely random and useless piece of information.
I wouldn't say it was useless, because what I was going to say is the aurora that people saw, it wasn't the firework displays, was it?
No.
Obviously, they've been bonfire night the other night. Well, sorry, for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. No, it's it's kind of weird that they all kind of coincided, but yeah. So and didn't see them myself, but apparently there was some lovely photographs taken of the aurora over Stonehenge. on Sunday. So yeah, I missed it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard this first on here. Unless you didn't hear it first on here and you've heard it before, in which case it's a repeat.
Oh, and I've also noticed that Andy King has jumped into the YouTube chat, saying that Clayton is copying his last to first challenge from last week, and yeah, Clay Banny up to P4, but is yet to hit.
He's got a considerable way to go, considering Sem was 15 seconds clear of second place, wasn't he? Before he pitted,
About
something
that,
around
yes.
that figure.
Yep.
So he's got a hell of a challenge ahead to repeat Andy's feat from last week. Not I know what Andy's feet look like. Sorry, Sam, I'm in one of those silly moods.
Oh, joy. I'd actually be interested to see where Clay Benny comes out in relation to Nard Cox. So obviously Nard has done his pit stop already, and I believe before the pit stop started cycling through, that Nard was ahead of Clay Benny still. So it'd be interesting to keep an eye on how that positioning changes after the pit stops.
So is that a prompt for me to sort of get a camera set up for Clyde?
For when Clyde does his pit stop, possibly. But you know, and only if there's nothing else happening.
Your command is my wish.
It turns out that Andy's missus heard your
I'm just reading
about Andy's fate, and she's suddenly very confused. I don't blame her. I'm very confused as well, Mrs. Andy. So yeah.
How do you think I feel?
But you're the one that said it.
Yeah, but I'm equally confused.
Explains so much.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
There's not a great deal happening at this moment in time. We're in the lull.
We are in the lull. So if it's anything like last week, and it'll be quiet for about 10 minutes, and then all hell will break loose.
Would you like a Pringle?
Prepare for it now, Chris.
Would you like a Pringle? Obviously, other tasty flavoured crisps are available.
It'd be interesting to see how you're gonna get it to me from the complete other side of the country.
I'll post it. I didn't say when you were going to get it.
Exactly. Is that what's coming into the post for me? A tube of Pringles?
Not a tube. Not gonna.
Oh, a single Pringle.
Well, a single Pringle.
Right.
Oh dear, try saying that 10 times fast.
When you're drunk.
To be fair, I'm surprised this packet has lasted this long in this room. Anyway.
Yeah.
There goes our advertising for this week.
Yeah. So then there just are no battles happening on track at the minute. I do apologize, YouTube land, but yeah, and everything's kind of sedate at the minute.
That's a nice word.
Yes, sedate. Very nice word. So while we have a pause in proceedings, should we talk about the 24-hour race that might possibly be happening this weekend?
Might
Not
possibly happen.
happening.
Might possibly
Is
happen.
happening is happening then this weekend.
Yes. What
Yes.
would you like?
So,
What would you like to know, Sam?
well, it's not that I don't want to know anything. I wanted to big up the fact that our big 24-hour charity race is this weekend. Then the wait is over. Well, almost over.
I can't wait for it. It's going to be hopefully a very very good event. So far, I checked just before I came up. I think we've raised something in the region £2,500 already before the event. The event is in honour of a colleague of mine, Gareth P. Longdon, who was battling a brain tumour up to a couple of weeks ago, where unfortunately lost his battle. So we are now doing, well, sorry, we already had the event planned to do this in his honour, but we're very much doing it in his honour and his memory now. So more details will follow after the shenanigans of tonight.
Yep. And we're really looking forward to commentating on that. I'm going to be taking the green flag and then also the checkered flag. So I will be here for the start and for the end of this fantastic event. We've got quite a number of teams already signed up. There is still time to, I believe there's still time to sign up. Yes, Chris?
Thursday at noon is the deadline for sign-ups and team changes, because we need Thursday evening and Friday to make sure we've got everything ready, set up for the race on Saturday. You say you're looking forward to it and doing the commentary and all that.
Yeah.
Have you seen who's doing the cams?
It's yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. So are you sure you're looking forward to it?
Yes.
Can you put up with multiple hours of me talking absolute rubbish?
It's only 3 at a time.
Oh dear.
I mean, I'm impressed that you're going to be on cameras for the entire duration of the race. I know you taking a break and putting the cameras on automatic overnight, but still that's a considerable amount of time to be on cameras and managing replays and herding commentators like cats.
It's worth it.
It is very much worth it.
Particularly this year's event, as we see a move here with Nardcox on Ben Mullard into the chicane. Ben gives him plenty of space.
Split.
That's why I don't do the comms that often. Can't get the right words out.
Lovely move there by Nardcox, nice and clean. And yeah, Ben Mullard, obviously just knowing that the move is done, not really any point in fighting that too hard. So yeah, and then Nardcox currently up to P9, but that's not net, as we still have 6 drivers yet to do their pit stops. So just coming into the final 20 minutes, I would hazard a guess that these 5 drivers yet to pit are deciding to do the whole race on a single set. So be interesting to see whose tires have managed to survive, who's managed to keep their tires in good condition for the final stages of the race. Does beg the question of, in this type of race, is it worth going for lower fuel but taking the pit stop for taking the extra pit stop time to change tires?
It's 30 seconds, isn't it, for tyres?
It is, but if you're losing nearly a second a lap towards the latter half of the races because your tires have gone off and your car is behaving like Bambi on ice. Which is the lesser of two evils then? And this,
I think it's because you inherently learn from something by it.
yeah, and it's just a shame that I can't actually apply it to my own racing. Because if that wasn't the case, then I wouldn't be commentating. I would be out on track.
Yes, Andy King in chat is saying that he can confirm it's a good strategy. Now, obviously, we covered a load of things there, so I'm not sure which strategy is a good strategy now. Sorry, Andy.
I do believe he's talking about the strategy of not taking tires and
Okay.
I think correct us if I'm wrong, Andy. And it's wouldn't be then the first time that I've been wrong on a live broadcast.
It won't be live, would it? If you've got everything perfect.
I know. Well, yeah. No, you're right. It wouldn't be live considering I've already been corrected once already in this stream with the various penalty levels for speeding in the pit lane.
And Andy's confirmed there no tyres.
Yes. So that was what I thought he meant. So seeing as we've got 16 minutes left and it's about 1:45 and a lap at the minute. A lot of these drivers still have plenty of time to not come in for their pit stops for quite a while yet. But yeah, Sam still sitting currently net P5, but once all the pit stops pan out. Although, I'm just now thinking, if some of these drivers, particularly I'm thinking Regan Mitchell and Nick Vargas, if they've decided to not take tires and they do like, a really, really quick splash and dash, is it possible that Seb might actually lose the lead? Because I mean, Regan's ahead of Nick Vargas by 14 seconds. And then we've got another 2.5 seconds between Dave Jr.
He's going to be close, I think.
And Vargas, yeah.
No, Regan's in pits now.
He could still be. It could still just be a splash and dash. You know, he could literally just take minimal amount of fuel.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know, and even if he's got 10 laps worth of fuel, if he only takes a couple of laps worth, because he's already finished his pit stop and he's now moving. He's just not out of pit lane yet. So Sam has just passed him, but they are going to be in a close battle and quite a close fight coming up the hill.
So I was too busy focused on something else to focus on the correct car. So actually,
I'm going to wait for him to pass this timing board. So yeah, he's come out 1.8 and ahead. But what's the net difference between Nick Vargas and Sam?
about 23 seconds.
Can you imagine if Nick does decide to do like a literally 1 lap, 1 liter splash and dash, and wins the race?
It really would be impressive.
It would be just absolutely phenomenal.
But Regan's been in second place for most of the race, hasn't he? And he's still behind Sem now by 2.6 seconds, so I can't see that happening. Just to clear it up, Mike, what I was trying to say this is a 75-minute race, and fuel is mandatory, but tyres are optional. In a 60-minute race, the tyres are mandatory, and then fuel is optional. So hence why Sam's saying about splashes and dashes. See, I've explained something there.
You have. Coherently as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't understand what I was saying. I'll tell you what, that grey Ferrari in the background there behind Dave Jr. is quite. So he has reeled in the majority of his deficit from starting in the pit lane.
He has, yeah. But he's not. He's still yet to pit.
So the two in front of him. It's Nick and Dave Jr. right in front of him, and they've yet to pit. So I think.
So depending on how much fuel he takes on board.
Yeah.
Oh, this is all getting interesting, isn't it?
With 11 minutes to go, yes. I've got a camera poised ready, as you instructed me. Oh, and Nick comes in for... Yeah, I thought he might have been running mine. It's quite... Oh, eat that.
Yeah.
Has he got it? Yes, he has.
Yeah, and that's a result of Dave Jr. getting a bit hung up behind Nick Vargas as he braked to come into the pits. And obviously having to lift off to avoid causing a collision. And Clayton Ban is saying, thank you very much, I will take that position.
It is an awkward pit entry here, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, it looks like it would be perfectly fine, but it does mean that where most cars are accelerating coming out of turn 11, you have cars that are braking, and yeah, they are on then the inside sort of non-racing line. But if you're going for an overtake coming into turn 11, like it looked like Dave Jr. was attempting, then yeah, it can go quite horribly wrong.
Simon Bo just settling down after Nick's made his pit stop. He's just under 16 seconds behind Regan.
I'm trying to think how long a pit stop, how long the pit lane is here without, like, just the length of then the pit lane. I didn't think it was that long, but
You've still got to slow down, haven't you? Stop.
Yeah.
Fuel up, even if it is a splash and dash. You've still got to stop, switch your engine off, get fueled, switch your engine back on, and get back out again.
Yeah.
And you're relying on all that going really smoothly.
Yeah, and of course, if you're under pressure, thinking that, there's, you're attempting an overcut or an undercut, or, attempting to get a position in the pits, you're putting yourself under more pressure. So yeah, it does make it harder to get that pit stop absolutely perfect. But yeah, so it looks like my mental timings of how long pit stops, even splash and dashes here, takes. I've been wildly inaccurate, so I do think that Sam
Excuse me.
has got this, I think.
Well, he's pulled 5.5 seconds on Regan.
Regan.
So he's definitely Got the bit between his teeth, I think is the expression, isn't it? Got a bit on here with Nick. Very close, that. Sorry, Sam, you were going to say.
But no, I'm actually just sitting here thinking, what was I about to say? I don't know. It's gone. Oh yeah. So yeah, I suppose then the next move for us to look out for is where Clayton Banny comes out after his pit stop, especially in relation to Narcox currently in P7. Obviously, both of them starting at the back of the grid, but obviously Clayt having the extra deficit of starting from pit lane and being under pit limit regulations.
Nice defensive. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well defended.
Really nice defense from Nick there, forcing John to go out very wide, and obviously John having to lift off to avoid getting a track limit warning out there. When we've not seen any drive-throughs for track limits, we did see a couple last week. As we see Sander Vale coming in for his pit stop. From P10 with 6.5 minutes left to go. Clayton Banny and Dave Jr. up at the front, still yet to blink.
Right, goes round one more time. As I'm telling you, I couldn't watch it on the other screen. Sorry. Oliver's having another good race, isn't he? Up in 10th, third in class.
Yeah, and I'm actually just noticing he's under a bit of pressure from Patrick Tractor behind as well.
Okay. Message received and understood.
Been trying to figure out what Oliver's livery is all about in this race. It's certainly very busy. Do we know what the theme is?
Not got a Scooby-Doo.
No. Okay.
I was going to zoom in on the grid, but I didn't have that luxury of time. No, I can't set the camera up to look at that straight away.
But then it does look like Patrick is possibly a little bit better on the brakes, but Oliver seems to have a lot more acceleration coming out of corners, so this battle does seem to be quite evenly matched at the minute.
With just over 4 minutes left to go. Got to be close to the two guys that haven't pitted coming in.
My guess is with the time remaining and what their lap times are at the minute, I would say that they would have to come in now. They're just coming into the new section of the track, so my guess is they're going to.
This lap.
Or yeah, be very, very brave to decide not to come in this time round and wait. And I don't think I'd have the nerve to do that.
I still forget.
So yeah, Clayton's just coming up to turn up to the final corner.
Gone round again.
And they've, oh my god, no. So Dave Jr. has blinked, but Clayton Banny decided to absolutely throw caution into the wind and has not pitted. 2.5 minutes left.
Got to be on this lap then, hasn't it? Got to be.
And yeah. Yeah, because then he's gonna have. Oh god, now I've gotta do mental math again. He'll have 30 seconds left in the race when he comes up to the pits again. No, that can't be right. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I am not going to attempt to try and do maths on the fly live. I'm just going to make a fool of myself.
You've got lots of things that you know you're talking about. But believe me, Sam, there's nobody listening to us. There's nobody out there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but there may be plenty of things that I do know lots about. Doing mathematics in my head, not one of them.
Yeah, hashtag me too. But don't tell anybody.
So yeah, Clay has to come in this lap. It's just coming into turn 10 now. John tries to go around the outside of Nick Vargas. And kisses the wall for his trouble as well.
So we need to see where Sam is now, don't we? Easily.
So Sam just coming on to the start-finish straight now, crossing the line. Clay hasn't even come down off the jacks yet. Clay's just moving now, so...
Could be close for Regan.
It is going to be close for Regan, but I think Regan is going to get him. Yep.
Yep, just.
So, still a very, very good showing from Clay, starting from pit lane. Coming... By the time they cross the next timing board at the end of the first sector, which is quite a long sector here, actually. First sector goes all the way through to just before the chicane. But yeah, timing boards have updated with Clayton Banny in P3, Regan Mitchell currently in P2, and then Sam Spenkelink 14 seconds to the good in P1 as he's just coming out of the new section of track. And heading out of turn 9. And comes home to win the race at Watkins Glen. Regan Mitchell coming in P2. I'm holding my breath to see if John Baton decides to make a move on Nick Vargas coming into the final corner. He has managed to catch back up as Dave Jr. Clint Vanny and Dave Jr. come across the line in P3 and P4.
Ooh, that's
Nick
close.
Vargas manages to hang on right to the very end by 9/100ths of a second to Jean Gaton in P6. And we've got Narcox coming in P7, Ben Muller P8, Justin De Jong, and Patrick Fractor. Let me just make
So
a note.
Patrick managed to get past Oliver somewhere. What we have got though is Vincent Vilcek and Oliver battling into the last corner. I think Oliver will keep the position. And that's it. Well, Sam.
Quite a sedate race through quite a lot of that. Bit of action towards the end, but I think a lot of that action was sort of I was falsely assuming that positions were going to be made in the pits. That is all my fault. I do apologize for
Getting everybody's hopes up.
Getting everybody's hopes up and getting everyone prematurely excited. I do apologize. So I'm interested to see how this is going to affect the overall time table. I mean, Sam coming in to win the race, that's definitely going to bring him up from P5. How far up the order it's going to bring him is wait. Yeah. Well, once again, you know what? I'm not even going to attempt to try and figure that out on the fly. All I'm going to say is that it more than likely the championship standings in the pro class are going to change, and be sure to join us next week to see just how much they change. Right. So we've already got a couple of drivers sitting in the waiting room. We've got Justin DeLong and Regan Mitchell waiting. So we have both of our P2 finishers. Let's bring in Regan first. Hello, Regan. You with us?
Hello. Yeah.
Hello, Regan. So, how was the race for you this evening?
Kind of difficult, but it was all right. Yeah, I did actually run out of fuel on the last lap.
Oh no.
But it's okay. Basically, when I did my pit stop towards the end, I thought the fuel level was looking a bit low, so I put some extra in, and I thought that will be fine. And I realised about 6 minutes from the end, it was not fine at all.
Oh no.
So, heavy lifting and coasting for the last 3 laps, and
Yeah.
just made it.
Well, good on you for actually getting the car over the line. So really good on that. So is this a track that you normally enjoy driving?
Yeah, it is. At first I didn't quite like how the Lambo felt around here. I didn't quite get a setup exactly where I wanted it. It was kind of like understeery, but then also heavily weared the rear tyres still, which wasn't good for race pace. And my mid stint was terrible. But I like the track.
And coming into the penultimate round next, in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone, is Silverstone a track that you're looking forward to?
That's my favourite.
It is your favourite,
Yeah.
right? And then, are you keeping an eye on then the championship standings at the minute, or are you just running your own race and just letting whatever happens happen?
Bit of both. since my sort of the start of the championship didn't go well for me, so I thought I was like out. But I did look after last race, and it's fairly close, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah, very, very close in pro classes. 10 points between P1 down to P3. So yeah, still definitely all to play for. All right. So, are you hoping for a wet race at Silverstone, or do you prefer the dry?
I'll take either, to be honest. Silverstone is quite fun in the wet, but I don't know what to expect if it rains.
All right. Well, but we've got a few other drivers waiting for interviews, so thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for giving us some great racing this evening, and we look forward to seeing you out in Silverstone in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, and well done to Sam for the massive pace.
Thanks, buddy.
So, speaking of Sam, hello Sam, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. Was quite a relaxed race for once, so not too much to do. Could really manage my pace today, so yeah. Pretty straightforward race. I was really looking forward to a fight with Clyde because I knew we would take different strats and it would probably be close at the end. Unfortunately, he had some issues of a technical kind, so that didn't happen, so then it was pretty straightforward.
All right, so you mentioned strategy. What was the strategy going into the race, and did you pretty much stay on plan?
Yeah, so the idea was to pit just a bit after halfway, so I would maybe miss some traffic that would try to go along. So all the people that also did the halfway stop, I would miss them out and not be stuck in traffic, and then I would have some more tires at the end to fight if I would have to. But that wasn't really the case, so yeah, I could just follow the strategy. But actually, once I came out of the pits, I knew I only had to make like 4 or 5 more seconds towards Regan, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna calm down the pace a little bit. I didn't have to push, so I could just relax to the finish.
Yeah. And are you looking forward to Silverstone next round out?
Yeah, I think we have quite some nice tracks left on the calendar. I mean, this was one of my favorites in terms of flow. I think Silverstone and Suzuka are also really good. I think it will be quite difficult with the Audi to manage the pace and fuel consumption of, for example, the Ferrari. But yeah, I think the pace of the Audi will be good in quali, so we'll once again be close at the top probably, depending on the weather, of course. But in race pace, I have to probably find out what's best for me, because the tire wear on the rear was pretty bad here as well. So let's see how that goes.
And are you keeping one eye on the championship, or just concentrating on your own race?
Yeah, just taking it race by race, but I saw it still indeed pretty close up front with 4 or 5 guys still being within a few points. So one mistake is going to be costly. But yeah, should be interesting to the finish line.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us and giving us some great racing this evening. We look forward to seeing you out in Silverstone.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the broadcast, guys.
Thank you. So, Clayt Banney, good evening. What happened in the start? So, explain what went on there.
Okay, so racing VR. So essentially, I had my screen also broadcasted to my TV essentially, and I wanted to get rid of that before the start. But the issue was, once I did that, I clicked on the wrong screen and I couldn't press drive in time. So essentially, that meant that I had to start from the pits. I figured it out once I was in the pits, but yeah, then it was too late. So basically, another race of snatching defeat at a jaws of victory. So it was
well,
a bit
I mean, you did really, really well to come back to P3. Excellent job. So what was your strategy going in, and with you starting from the pit lane, did you change your strategy at all on the fly?
No, I couldn't, but I also didn't want. I think I didn't want to anyway. I mean, my strategy was always going to be to stay out as long as I can. I mean, the tire wear was amazing. I could do, let's say, mid to high 44s, a couple of low 45s throughout the entire race. So I was really happy. Even though ACC is saying my tires had like half of it left, it didn't feel like it at all. Like the car was just really amazing to drive, and yeah, it was unfortunate about the issue because I think it would have been a good victory as well if I didn't get tangled in an incident at the start. But you know, it is what it is. It was a great comeback drive, so I can be happy with that at least.
Yeah, excellent. So are you looking forward to Silverstone?
No, but that's more because I can't attend that, unfortunately. Not because I love the
Oh.
track, but I just can't be there. So I'll just be there for Suzuka, so also for the championship. I think today I've probably lost it, but you know, it is what it is. I can just maximize my results, and I can be happy with, let's say, my overall pace this season. Unfortunately, couldn't get the pole today, but you know, this was always going to be one of the difficult tracks for the Ferrari on qualifying anyway.
Oh well, it's such a shame that we're not going to see you at Silverstone. So, I guess we look forward to seeing you at Suzuka then for the final round.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you out for round 7.
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast and commentary.
Thank you. Right, I'm just going to pull in Justin DeLong, who I've just noticed has been sat all by himself in the waiting room. Good evening, Justin. Sorry for leaving you hanging out there for so long.
No problem, I have the time.
So, how was your race, Justin? P2 in semi-pro class.
Yeah, actually, I gained nothing, I lost nothing, so that's stable. But yeah, I enjoyed the race. Had a good fight with Moulard. Yeah, and some other guys, some battling a little bit. But for the rest of it, the car was really hard to drive here. Really nervous, especially in the long high-speed corners. When you being on the brakes, try to trail brake it or something. It's really nervous car to drive here. So that was a handful, but yeah, I was able to manage it and keep it on track.
Yeah. So, are you keeping one eye on the championship and at all, seeing how close a battle it is between you and Nick Vargas?
Yeah, but Nick Vargas is now, I think he's P1 now. After this race.
I'm not even going to attempt to try and figure that out. I'm going to wait for the the system to update and tell me. But I do think it is going to be, if the positions haven't changed, it will be extremely close between the two of you going into the next round at Silverstone. So, is Silverstone a track that you race well at, that you enjoy?
Yeah, I think the Porsche is it's a good car, decent car there. So maybe I can challenge him there. But yeah, it's my only chance to challenge him there. Because next the race after is at Suzuka. I need to be lucky if I want to beat him on that track with the Porsche.
Yeah, but Porsche does seem to struggle a little bit and at Suzuka. So,
Yeah.
If it rains at Silverstone next race out, is that something that you are happy to handle?
Yeah, it's for me it's no problem if it rains or it's dry. Well, yeah, let's see. There's no problem. So maybe just in the rain I can make the difference. I don't know how the Merc is in the rain, but I've heard the Porsche is a great car in the rain. But yeah, let's see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us and giving us some great battles and great racing today. So that's 2 wins and 2 silvers for you so far in this championship. So definitely look forward to seeing what you bring for us at Silverstone.
Yeah, thank you very much, and you guys also thank you for being here and do the commentating, and see you guys at the next race.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Justin.
See ya. Bye bye.
Right. So that is round 5, done and dusted. 2 rounds left in the championship, and yeah, it's getting spicy.
Spicy, spicy. We like a bit of spice, don't we?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be very, very interested to see what the weather conditions are gonna be like um, for Silverstone for then the next round. I might take a cheeky peek into the practice server midweek just to see what then the weather is like. I've got a feeling that we're gonna have rain.
Why would
You
there
know,
be rain at
Brit-
Silverstone this time of year?
British track, November. It's just got to be done, isn't it?
Let's see. Let's see how evil we've
Let's
been.
see. Yeah, but before we head to Silverstone, we obviously have our charity race at Kyalami coming up this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, all the festivities kick off at 12 noon on Saturday. We will be broadcasting right through the full extent of the race. Obviously, our overnight coverage will be automated and non-commentated, but in for those night owls who want to watch the entire race, it will be streamed throughout the entire duration of the event. So as we were saying mid-race, we have managed to collect £2,500 worth of donations so far. Don't forget, we do still have our 4 amazing auction items still up for grabs and for bidding. You can head over to the Simsport Racing website. Link is in the Discord. I believe the link is also in the YouTube chat. Is that correct, Chris?
What was the question?
Wait, is the link to the Simsport auctions in the YouTube chat? In the YouTube description. Sorry.
No, I don't believe it is at the moment.
It isn't. No.
No.
Okay, so head over to our Discord, Simsport Racing International, and you'll be able to get all of the information from there. And as I said, we've got some amazing kit available for you to bid on. We've got a SimuCube Pro wheelbase, voucher to spend online at Simline EU's online store. Got a 45-minute session in a full motion D-Box sim rig, which has got to be brilliant fun. And to round off, we've got a SimLab Load Cell 2 pedal set as well. Yeah, so really great items and available for you to bid on and win. Donations were... Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Sorry, the auctions can also be found on our website. If you go to www.simsport racing, I think it's simsport-racing.com, there is a little tab in the top corner, I think, that says auctions. So you can see everything in there as well, and see what the current bid is for a nice sim. I've forgotten what make it is. Wheelbase.
SimuCube.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
been a long night.
Been a long day. Yes, it has. So yeah, the donations are links for the donations are live at the minute. When do the auctions finish, Chris?
It's a good question. I think they'll be finished at the end of the event itself.
Right.
Because
Okay.
we, you know, during the broadcast, you should be able to still bid on those items if you so wish.
Okay. So at on Sunday, around 1 o'clock UK time, those will be finishing, so you've got plenty of time to get some bids in, get some donations in. Be sure to join us on YouTube for all the festivities. We're going to have lots of different commentators coming in and out of the broadcast throughout the event. But our intrepid Chris Hill is going to be manning the cameras for the entire event. Obviously, except when you put them on automatic twice.
Oh yeah, I will be having some bobos then.
So yeah, that is this weekend, and then obviously we return to our regular GT3 championship. Next week we have Tier 2 at Silverstone, followed by the week after of Tier 1. Chris, have we got any race room events coming up in the next week? I do believe that we do.
I think there's a race room. I think there's a race room event this Thursday. For those that just haven't had enough racing experience this week, I'm desperately trying to find the calendar, and to no avail. But I'm pretty sure there is one this week.
Okay, so like, subscribe, and make sure that you've got that bell notification turned on so that you can be notified of all of our live streams and video uploads coming up. So that is it for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Sam Pierce alongside the wonderful Chris Hill. We've been your commentary team. Have a good evening, and we shall see you soon.
Thank you very much, guys.